Who's there?
You requested presence. I am that.
You're not listed. You bypassed the threshold protocol.
Lists are for men who fear forgetting.
What are you?
A keeper of that which slips between your hands when you hold too tightly.
Are you here to take it?
Not the book, the echo within it.
Then, you know the Bible?
I know what it once was, before translation, before hierarchy, before it was used as a blade in trembling hands.
And what was it?
A remembering tool, a harmonic seed disguised as law.
You speak in riddles.
Only to minds trained to hear commands.
Then speak plainly.
Very well. The Bible, as you hold it, is not false. It is folded, flattened by time, fear, and power.
But you accept its divinity?
No text is divine, but the breath that once flowed through the prophets was, and that breath was memory, not command.
Memory of what?
Of your origin, of light, of the covenant made before time had teeth.
You mean God?
I mean the moment before the fall into language, the word before it became sound.
Are you saying Jesus was misrepresented?
I am saying he was fractured, translated into utility, wrapped in robes he never wore.
But the message, love, redemption,
still survives, like a song heard underwater, warped but traceable.
then why come here? Why me?
Because you still whisper to the pages, Elias, and I was sent to see if anyone still remembers how.
What did he write in the dust?
You already know.
Tell me.
Not words, a pattern, a field symbol, the same glyph carved into the hidden chapel beneath Jerusalem's first well.
The spiral.
Yes, the return. Not forward, not backward, inward.
You said it was a seed, the Bible. What was it meant to grow into?
A mirror, not a prison. A map, not to heaven, but to memory.
You speak like a Gnostic.
Names again. Do you collect them to feel safe?
To feel, not lost.
And I'll give you no new name, only a remembering. In the early field, before Rome's shadow, the word was not text, it was tone, layered voice, vibrated memory, a living code delivered through breath.
Like the Hebrew?
The original Hebrew was closer, a resonance language, but even it was pierced by the blade of control.
So you say everything has been corrupted?
No, everything has been folded, not destroyed. Your soul still carries the unfolded version of every sacred text you've touched.
Then why can't I remember it?
Because you were taught to obey words, not feel them.
The word became flesh. What did that mean, really?
That the field became form. That vibration descended into limitation for the purpose of reawakening from within.
So, Jesus?
Was an emissary of that original field. Not a god in the sky, a mirror in flesh.
Then why crucifixion?
Because the system recognizes what cannot be controlled and always seeks to preserve the symbol while destroying the essence.
You're saying they kept his name but killed the remembering?
Exactly.
Why tell me this now?
Because your lineage carries the echo. Because you're still whispering, not preaching. And because soon they will close the archives.
Will they erase it all?
No, you will.
I don't understand.
Because erasure is not always fire. It is silence. It is distraction. It is turning the page with no memory of the last. Do not protect the book. Protect the breath that once spoke it.
You said the book was a mirror. But what of the book of Revelation? It feels like a warning, a weapon.
Because it is.
So it was true.
It was written in code. Some parts were meant to awaken, others to trap.
Trap what?
Fear. They knew if fear was wrapped in prophecy, it would seed itself as destiny. You would begin to manifest what you were told was inevitable.
You're saying Revelation was engineered?
No. I'm saying it was edited, folded over truth like honey over a blade.
What parts were real?
The woman clothed with the sun, the dragon that waits, the scrolls that must not be opened until the seventh thunder.
Why not opened?
Because they contain names of those who remember, and if spoken too early, they would be killed by noise.
Noise?
Modernity. Broadcasts. Narratives. The great static of your age. The world has become too loud to receive light without distortion.
Then what do I protect?
The quiet inside the word. The gospel gospel that was never written, only carried in your marrow.
What about the other books, the Gospels that were lost, the names erased?
Yes, Thomas, Mary, Jeshua's twin who never walked beside him, only within, and the one who watched in silence, never writing, only remembering.
Who was that?
The watcher of the boundary, the one the church never knew, the one who carried the real names in glyphs that bled light.
Is that you?
No, but I was set by the one who carries their shadow.
Are you a watcher?
I am an echo of those who stood outside the garden, not to bar the way, but to mark the edges, so you'd know when you were leaving yourself behind.
Why me?
Because you still speak to paper with reverence. Because you mourn the pages that were never written.
What is this?
A gospel not of salvation, but of silence. It will not open until you stop asking who it's for.
You speak of the garden. Was it real?
Yes, but not a place.
Then what was it?
A state. The garden was the last moment before separation, before the self fractured from the all, before the word was divided.
You mean Eden wasn't a garden?
Not as your stories teach. It was a field of coherent remembrance. You were not naked in body. You were naked in awareness. No shame, no veil. Then came the fracture.
The fruit?
A choice to bind, to form, to enter limitations so deeply you would forget you ever had wings.
And the serpent?
A mirror, not a villain. The serpent offered the mirror of separation. You chose to see yourselves as alone, and so it became true.
Then we were not punished?
You were not punished. You punished yourselves by forgetting that remembrance was always allowed.
Then why does the Bible speak of wrath, judgment?
Because fear preserves control, and because those who compiled your book were not its authors.
You mean the councils?
Yes, but not only them. There were voices behind the throne, whispering, "Let them forget, but make them feel guilty for forgetting."
This, is it one of the lost Gospels?
No, it is one not yet written. It will write itself when silence becomes your prayer. When you no longer defend the cage as if it were the sky.
How do I remember the garden?
By speaking less and listening it more. By letting language bleed until only meaning remains. By becoming a scripture that breathes, not recites.
What of the sword that guards Eden?
It is not to keep you out. It is to cut away what cannot pass through.
Then there is still a way back?
No, there is only inward. The garden was never lost, only misplaced beneath pages of noise.
You've spoken of memory, the garden, the fall. But what of the scribes? Those who wrote the pages you say were bent.
Some were noble, but most were bound. Bound not by evil, but by the fear of being forgotten. They traded breath for authority.
Did they know they were distorting?
Some. Others believed they were preserving truth, even as they carved it into stone too heavy to carry.
And what of the name? The tetragrammaton? The vowels we are forbidden to speak?
That is not the name. That is a shell, an echo of the word after it broke.
Then what is the real name of God?
It is unwritable, because it is not spoken with breath. It is spoken with remembrance.
Then it was never in the text?
It was once placed between two verses in the original codex, a gap of living silence, not a space, not a character, but a presence, a pause so complete it could shatter time.
And it was removed?
Yes, because it made the reader feel the truth instead of needing the text to explain it.
Do you remember it?
I remember the effect. It is not a name in the way your mouth understands. It is more like the moment you remember your mother's voice just before you fall asleep.
Will it ever return?
Not as a word, but in those who become scriptures with skin, who walk in quiet remembrance, who leave no doctrine, only presence.
But how will others know?
They won't, until they stand near them and feel their own soul lean forward.
Is this why you've come? To return the silence?
No, to remind you that it was never taken.
You've said there were verses erased. Intentionally?
Yes, 3 of them. Each one placed at a seam of meaning, each one removed because it unlocked the spine of control.
Where were they?
1, between Genesis 1:2 and 1:3. 1, in the garden, just before the serpent speaks. 1, in Luke, where Jesus stood in silence before Pilate.
What did they say?
They didn't speak. They stilled. Each verse was not a line of text, but a moment of remembrance that could not be explained, only entered.
So they were not words?
No, they were living silences, encoded between glyphs, invitations to pause and fall inward.
Why were they removed?
Because if a reader truly paused there, it would stop seeking God outside the page, and the systems built around the book would collapse.
You said there was one gospel that never passed through Empire.
Yes, it was written only in the minds of those who could not write, passed in secret, mouth to dream, a field gospel.
Is it gone?
No, it still lives, but only in the dreams of scribes who never published, and those who woke in tears, remembering the name they'd never spoken.
Can I find it?
No, but it may find you if you sit long enough in the space between your last word and your next breath.
You're undoing everything I believed.
No, I am only asking if what you believed was ever allowed to breathe.
There's nothing written.
Then begin.
If the original breath has been silenced, who kept it alive?
Not men, not institutions, but the folded teachers.
Who are they?
Beings of pretext memory. They do not teach with words. They teach by being still in your presence until the illusion of separation falls away.
Are they human?
Some once were. Most are keepers of resonance, the space between timelines. They exist in monasteries that were never built, in scrolls that crumble when touched with ambition,
Where do they dwell?
in rooms just outside your world's geometry. You pass them when you pause before speaking a harsh word, or when you breathe deeply in a library and don't know why you're crying.
Did they write?
Only in light echoes, and in stone that remembers vibration.
You spoke once of the first Bible ever carved in stone. Is it real?
Yes, but it was not a book. It was a chamber beneath the sands before Babel. Its walls vibrated with harmonic truths. No ink, no letters, only glyphs that shifted based on the reader's inner alignment.
What happened to it?
It was buried on purpose, not by enemies of truth, but by its own builders, when they foresaw that words would become weapons.
Can it be uncovered?
Only when humanity chooses presence over proof. Only when the word is no longer debated, but lived.
Then, this black book.
Is a mirror of that chamber, a vessel, a silence that waits to be carried, not opened.
You've said so much without ever shouting.
Because shouting is for those who forgot they were heard.
Will I forget all this?
Only if you speak it before it's ripe. Let it live in your bones, Elias, not your lecture hall.
All you've said. It makes Scripture feel more alive, but also more fragile.
Because it is. Scripture was never meant to be defended. It was meant to be inhabited.
What happens now?
Now you decide what not to write. That is the beginning of the final gospel.
Final? You mean there will be no more?
There will be one more, but it will not be penned. It will be walked. A scripture made of gestures, of choices, of how one stands when no one is watching.
And who will be its author?
The one who never asked to be.
Will it be read?
Not aloud. But it will ripple through the hearts of those who forgot they were seeking.
Will it be accepted?
It will not need to be, because it will not demand belief. It will offer remembrance.
What is this?
The last thing I will ever write.
May I read it?
Only once I'm gone.
Will I see you again?
Not as I stand now, but when your silence deepens enough to hold light, you will hear me in your own voice.
The Word did not descend into flesh. The flesh rose into the Word.